Morning, everybody. Got it. Thanks for coming, everybody. So my name is Chris. I work with Coventry University London. I'm the course leader for the PSE program. So today I want to talk to you guys about using Staff Notebook, and this would be mainly aimed at course leaders, but for tutors also I hope very useful. So in today's session, we're going to cover why you would want to use a Staff Notebook, how you'd create it, associate it to your teams, and useful features in their application to the PSE context, potentially to ISE or foundation programs. If you work on that, it would work as well. So my assumptions today would be that you are probably a PSE course leader, coordinator, different job title. You perhaps line manage PSE tutors, and there's usually a sort of a mix of tutors. You could have some returners, some new teachers with EAP experience or without EAP experience, very techie, not very techie, a mix of them all. And you want to make life easier for your tutor team and for yourself. A lot of this, you may be thinking, why should I be implementing new systems? My systems are fine. It is some work that you would do, and it is some work that you would do mostly for the benefit of your tutor team. Potentially, I mean, in an ideal world, then they would spend less time looking for materials, more time planning, teach better lessons, better student outcomes, so everyone's happy. If you are a tutor, you can also set up this OneNote systems for yourself and potentially share with your course leader. There's a lot you can do with this. It's such an easy app to use, and you can do so much. So let's start with why you would want to use a Staff Notebook. You would use this if you want to centralize everything your tutors need to teach in the PSE in one single place, one single point of access. So you'd have your materials, schemes of work, assignments, mark sheets, your tutor handbooks, any induction documents, all sorts of records like tutorial records, marking records, and you've got everything in one place with one access point. And if you want fast access and navigation, fewer clicks are really important, and fewer open documents. You've got like one open app that will give you everything. And it just saves and keeps everything in its place automatically. So you don't have like all these shared documents flying around. We don't even use shared documents in our team, in the PSE team at all. Everything is on OneNote. So that does all the job we need. So staff teams and staff notebooks, they sort of are a pair. The staff team is linked to the staff teams, and I will demo it shortly. And the scenario I'm seeing is that each course leader would own one staff team and notebook, and that will ideally allow you to manage about 10 tutors. More than 10 tutors would be a bit much, but I mean, you could. It depends on your context in your institution. And you'll add and remove tutors every time a course starts and ends. So you've got like your system is sort of in one place. You don't need to add new permissions, share, reshare documents. Their tutors can also have their teams for each of their classes. That's a class, teams, and notebooks. But that is for students. And today we're focusing on the staff team and notebook. And none of this is accessible to students. This is all for your tutors. If you work in a really large team with many course leaders, then potentially your online managers can do something similar. They can create a team for all the course leaders and then share a notebook to allocate tasks, whatever. So what's in a staff notebook? What's in there? So by default, there are 4 sections. That's the leader only section for the leader only. The content library that tutors can view but not edit. The collaboration space tutors can view and edit. And then each tutor will have their own individual section. They can only see their own, and you can see all the tutors that you're managing. And inside each section, you can create new subsections with the same permissions. And you can create new sections, as many as you want. So how do we create this with an associate team? I'm going to do a quick demo because you might already know this. So instead of actually going to Teams, I got some really handy screenshots that came from CodePython, and there's the link for the video if you want to see it. It's just a series of screenshots, very useful, that I screenshot myself. So you'd start by going to Teams, create a team, create a staff team, make sure it's staff, not the other ones. and name your team, click next, add a person, add teachers. If you don't have your teachers yet, just add at least one person so that you can see their individual section. You can add a colleague. In this case, one of our librarians has kindly offered to be the person that I added. And then you click close, and there's your team. Your team is created there. Now, once your team is created, you go to the general channel, and there's your staff notebook on top. So general channel, top tabs here, and you set up a new notebook, set up a blank notebook. You'll see this screen. There's nothing to do there. It's just for your information. So click next, and then you will set up the sections that will show up in the members' individual spaces. So ideally, you would already know really well the sections that you want to create. So play around with just a regular notebook, decide which sections you want to have. And then once you've decided that, then create this theme, because if you've got this bit set, then every time you add a new staff member, they automatically get these sections and they automatically get it right. You can always edit, but I mean, it's good if you got it right the first time. So set this up with regular notebook beforehand. And then it just takes a bit of time to complete. And then this is your staff notebook. So again, general channel here and top tabs, staff notebook. And you can use it straight away in Teams if you want to, but I don't recommend you do. I mean, you can, but it's less fast. It's not really slow, but it's less fast. So what I recommend is that you go here and you go to open in browser. So we're still general channel, staff notebook, open in browser. You don't want to open in browser. That's not the right one. You want to open in the app, and that's where the real sort of power is. So once you open in the app, you might get another dialog box, confirmation dialog. You click yes. Yes, you can be like, are you sure you want to do this? Yes, and then it looks like that. Okay, that's what it looks like once it's open in the app and it lives here. You will see it in your taskbar at the bottom. So first thing you want to do, you want to pin to taskbar, and this will always be available for you. So all this open in browser, you only need to do this the first time you open it. Once it's there, it's always there for you, and it's pinned to your taskbar. So I get it to work in the morning, click OneNote, and everything is the way you left the day before. So first thing we want to know is what's exactly is the organization of a notebook. So there are section groups. Inside section groups, there are sections. Inside your sections, there are pages. You can have as many section groups, sections, pages as you would like, and subsections inside sections. So you can create this to fit really your syllabus and your context. So that's what it looks like. That's your section groups. That's your sections. That's your pages. You can move your pages to the left. I like them on the right, so you've got like the bit to write in the middle. You can see the sections here on top are the same as the ones on the left, so that's just repeated information there, and that's how you would navigate through the sections you've created. So first thing I like to do is to change the name so that it comes up in the order that I like, with the leader only section, the one that's just for the course leader, and then the content library, collaboration space, etc. And this is what it would look like every time I would open it again the following day or later. Okay, so what's in each section group? So let's now explore what I set up for my team for the PSE context, which some of these bits you can adapt. So that's the bit like the show and tell part of the session. So I'm actually going to start with the content library, that's section group 1 here. And there's a couple of default pages that you can just get rid of because it's just cluttering your space. So just read through, and if it's useful information, then you can just get rid of it. So you're going to start here is where like the main bit of our course is. This is our complete syllabus, schemes of work, tutors notes, PowerPoints, worksheets, assignment briefs, the whole thing is all in there. We do have like guides, how-to guides, video guides for everyday tasks. Things are getting a little complicated. since we've all moved online. So there's a lot to learn, and it's really useful to link these things across. And you could have like your tutor handbook, your induction materials. We've got PSE outcomes as well. So basically you could also have like CPD records, whatever you want tutors to access, but not edit or delete by mistake. So everything here is accessible and not editable. So I'm going to show you now on the notebook that I prepared to show you guys. So this is the two default pages. I'm just going to delete that. I'm just going to delete that as well. With that. Okay, so we've got our scheme of work. This is our 5-week scheme of work, which you copy directly. Just one thing you can do is just make it really similar to what paper versions you have. So if you're migrating from paper versions of Word documents, if you can make it look similar, it just reduces resistance in the tutors. Because if you look at our scheme of work, our old scheme of work, which we used actually years ago, it looks pretty similar. So you would just copy this and just add a page and just paste. And as you can see, it still looks very similar to what we use now. So making it similar to the paper versions, just tutors are used to it and it's familiar to them, and they tend to feel better about it. So that's the scheme of works, nothing mysterious there, Monday to Friday with the sessions and the outcomes. Tutors notes you can have, it's not really managed, it's not really essential. Again, it's one of those things that we only have started using post-pandemic, because like I said, things got a bit complicated with setting discussion groups and breakout rooms, and peer feedback is a lot more difficult. So we started writing tutors notes and then your materials. And that's really where the OneNote, that's how it all started for us. The use of OneNote is with the materials, and that's a bit where the power is. So you've got, for example, your PowerPoints, and with OneNote, you can add printout. So you don't really need to open the PowerPoint to actually see what's in there. So you can go through all the different materials that you have prepared for tutors to teach, and they can have a look at it before they teach without having to open it. It's really fast. You can have your handouts as well. We use our handouts directly again on OneNote, and this transfer is really easy for the class notebook for the students to use, because obviously it's the same system. So how you do that is I've got PowerPoint in here. So you would add a page, and you can use the insert and file printout, or you can simply drag and drop here and insert printout. And it's just going to insert the printout of your document after a couple of seconds. I hope. There you go. And it's all there. Okay, if also it's really handy that if you have spotted a typo or something, you can just go, and if it's supposed to be, take this off, save, close, and then you can refresh your printout, and after a couple of seconds it will update. When we had our documents, all our materials uploaded to Moodle, we would have to take it down from Moodle, correct something, re-upload if you want. Every time you wanted to update something, it would be quite cumbersome. So now you go, our F is gone. It works as well with handouts. Again, if you have a handout, for example, this homework, you put a printout there, and you've got your Word document in there. And again, you don't need to open it to see where it is. So that's quite handy and easy to access. Once you've got all that set up, then you can link things across all the pages, and that's really also something that will make your tutor's life easy. So if you are supposed teaching on Wednesday, week 2, these are like your ILOs, your lesson outcomes. So a tutor will come here, look at what they're teaching. They will click on the link here. It takes them to their tutor's notes. They look at what they have to do. they will click on there. It's their materials to teach. Okay, they can go back using this button there. You've got your handouts that you are supposed to give students. So everything is collated and really nicely done for students to go from day to day. For tutors to go from day to day as they need to go about planning their lesson. So again, if you here week 3, you've got tutors notes, you've got your materials, you've got your handouts to give students, your instructions for tutors. If you want them to distribute handouts and you want to add sort of a guide for them how to do that, you can then link that to a guide that could be somewhere else in another page. So it's really user-friendly for tutors to do. You can put how-to guides, how to do certain things, how to distribute handouts. For example, this is something tutors ask a lot. With screenshots, it's very easy as well to put together. See if I can find some tutors notes with that. Okay, so for example, here you can say before the lesson starts, you're supposed to distribute this handout. If you don't know how to do that, here is the video, and the video is just over there. They're just finding all these things very seamlessly in the same environment. So that's our content library. You can, like I said, have other things. So back to our PPT. We're going to look now at the tutors individual section. So that's where also a lot of the things are going to be there. So it will show up with the tutors' names. So this is just one that we have here. And this is when you're going to have all your PSE admin, all your records that tutors need to complete during the course. So in our case, we have a continuous assessment tracker and like your marking for your first drafts, your mark sheets, observation records as well, you could put in there. You could have others, you obviously will have other sections according to your syllabus and what you need, what records you need to keep. So back to our section. So what we have, we've got a record of continuous assessment. Again, I really try to make this look similar to our paper version. If you look at our paper version, this is what it used to look like. You would just copy the whole table and very you would pop it in there, and as you can see, it looks very similar to the one we have in there. And then here, cool thing you can do, we used to have numbers. We would rate the students numbers 1 to 10, but if you want to have a red, amber, green situation, you can use these tags to do it. So for example, if the student has done really well, you can put a green, and if the journal, you can put an amber, and maybe this one was not very good, and that was quite good, and then participation is great. So you have like a visual bit, or you can just get a tutors to color code, or you could just use numbers, whatever you do is fine. One thing you can do that is also really, really useful, you can set this up as template so that every time you create a new page, this comes up. So if you copy the page name and you go to insert, templates, page templates, and you save current page as a template, pop the name in there, set as default, and what's going to happen is that every time you create a page, you get one of these. So you can have loads of them. They keep showing here on the right. You've got the students' names. So that would be Susie, that would be Jack, that would be Mike, I don't know, whatever. So easy for tutors to come back to this and find once they've done it in week 1, they don't need to do it again. And it's all there for them. So that's one of the records. Now the records could be tutorials, another one that you could do. Again, you fill in this stuff, fill in the student name, information, emails. You could have something at coventry.ac.uk, and you could have the focus, could be draft 1. And then one thing you can do, you can just attach. So if you've got an essay that you've marked their first draft, for example, like that, or something similar, you take this, you drag and drop, and now you drop and you attach the file, and the file is here, and you could say, decide whatever you've agreed with the student. And then once this is done, another handy thing is you can directly from here, you can email the page to the student. So you just click on there and it will generate an email. Again, a couple of seconds. Has it generated an email? Oh, it has, but it's on the other screen. There you go. And it gives you immediately the document is still attached. You just copy the email from there, pop it in there, and you can say your subject draft and find attached your marking, and then pop send to student, and it's done. And then you can also set this one as template. So at that, you save as template, pop it in there. That is default. And what happens is you're going to have every time you add a page, it will just be one of these tutorial records. You can have for other records. Mark sheets are also a very useful way to use OneNote in there. So for example, there you would just highlight what it is. For example, this bit was really good. This bit was not so good. And so overall they get, I don't know, a 6. And then once this is ready, you can again email first, attach the final marking and email to students. You can set a template, and another thing you can do, which is also very useful. Okay, so every time you create, you've got new pages. Then at the end of your PSE, once you want to save all this and for record keeping, if you've got like inspections or valid visits, done inspections, you can then go to file and export the whole section as PDF. And you create that, it will ask you when you want to do this, and then you're going to get all your documents that you've used in the PSE in one single PDF. You can save in your OneDrive, and you can delete all the pages once you add new tutors. So also very useful for record keeping. So those are records. Then you can have like observations and other things. It just depends on what you need your tutors to have. So that is the tutors individual section. The next bit I'm going to tell you about is the collaboration space. So that's number 2 in there. There's lots of default pages you can get rid of. This is the only section that is visible to all tutors and editable by all tutors. So we currently have our end of course reports because both tutors of the class need to work on it. But depending on your records, if your records are shared between 2 or more tutors, then they should live in this section because, like I said, it's the only one that both tutors can access. It's arguably even more practical for the records to be based in there because you set it as templates, and then you don't need to add in every single tutor section. It's just centralized in one single section. So ours looks like that. So all these pages you can just get rid of. Our end of course report looks like that. It's just some tick boxes, which are also very handy. And then you would write the student strengths and weaknesses. You can then attach their at the end of the course, attach the certificate, email the page, and it is done. And it's really quick and easy as well to do. Again, all these things, if you can make them as similar as possible to paper versions, that's really going to make your tutor's life easy and reduce sort of resistance in adopting these new any new bits of technology. And at the end, you export the section, pop it into your OneDrive, and you've got all your record keeping done. Delete the old records, add new tutors, and your course is ready to run again on the first day of any new intake. Like I said, all those records that you have in here, you can have in the collaboration space. You can create subsections in the collaboration space with every tutor's names, and they can pop their records there, but they will be able to see each other, see each other's work. And I mean, it's not like it happens, I mean, never happened in our team, but in the collaboration space, things can be deleted by mistake. So don't put anything there that is extremely like a unique piece of work. So that's the collaboration space. And finally, I'll just quickly show you what's in the leader only section. So that's the one here. This bit you can get rid of. You can have things like contacts, CVs, because this is just everything that needs to be data protected. For course leaders only, you can pop in there, only you can see it. Checklist for admin duties, you can have that sort of thing. Any summative work that you are working on, like exams, can be in there. So other things could be like accreditation work, assessment handbooks, exam specs. We have our exam specs in there. Feedback surveys, if you want to keep referring that. I keep a lot of my work in progress there because it just means it's a lot more easily accessible than having to go back to OneDrive and open Word documents. So in my leader only section, I've got here things like context. This is just a table. You can make the table look nice. You can go to over. Can't see it because I've got this in front. So you can go here, home, and make this a different color. You can put CVs in there if you want. So for example, I've got a couple of sort of mock CVs in there. You can attach the CV, or you can make it a printout. And then if you'd like, you can copy the link to page. So in order to copy links across from one page to the other, it's also really easy. You just go literally copy link to page. And if you want to put it in there, you could maybe add a tab there. You can pop in there the link and it just goes in there. So you can also use open square brackets and just also type the name of the page and it will create a link to that page in there. So very easy to create links across the pages. I've actually not shown you here in the scheme of work. So basically you go to the tutor's notes, you can just copy the page name and here open square brackets, pop the page name. It's not really letting me navigate very well for some reason. Okay, it always happens. You try to demonstrate something, but you can just copy link to page and then go back to scheme of work and paste the link to page and it creates the link automatically. So copy and paste that in there. If you need to monitor very closely the work your tutors are doing, also very easy. If you need to weekly check if your tutors have been doing their reading and writing tutorials, you don't need to ask them to upload things to anywhere. You can just pop into their section and say, okay, he's done all his work. So this one's fine. Maybe Louise hasn't done it. So you can pop a message and then have a chat with Louise, and you don't, it's very easy to check if all the work is being completed when it should be. So for example, if you know in week 2, they should be marking this essay draft, then you go here and you check if it's all been done. And then you can tick it off and say, okay, it's been done. So you're confident your tutors are doing the work they should be doing. Any notes about staffing and evaluation surveys, final exams, whatever, you can all keep in there. So that will be your leader only section. Okay, so that is what I have on this sort of notebook that I made to demonstrate to you. This, in terms of materials and handouts, it works really well, because if you have then a class notebook, this is for students, you can so quickly copy from the staff notebook to the class notebook, everything, they play very well together. So everything will be quickly available. It's also a question of, it's really one system only that the tutors need to learn about. It's the same system for tutors and students. So to reduces the cognitive load of learning systems. So as a summary, what I've got, the most useful features of OneNote: attaching files, emailing pages, very useful to email records to students. We actually did get really good feedback from students about this. They felt it was very transparent, that we did a tutorial with them, we attached the file, we email them the notes, they get it on their phone straight away, and they feel that the system works well, it's transparent, they can keep track of it. Creating templates, really good for records pages, things that you need to create loads of. Attaching files as printouts, this is wonderful for materials, PowerPoints, worksheets, works really well. Linking pages across notebooks, you use 2 square brackets, type the name of the page, or just copy link to page and paste, and this links schemes of works and materials very quickly. Very easy for tutors to find things. You can have those tick boxes, they're very useful. They are found here. So if you go and create a page, they are, the tick boxes are just there. So we also even use this with students. So we want them to be able to plan their day. So they've got like a page in their portfolio where they are supposed to do to-do lists, but this can also be used for making group this is the group discussion mark sheet. So the tutors will just stick there. And it's really easy to mark as well. So, and other tags, they live here, and that's where you can get red, amber, green. If you want to use a red, amber, green system for marking sort of continuous assessment or other things. Tables, you can copy the tables from your Word document. Also, anything you copy from a Word document here, it's very, very similar. And export section as PDF, and you export the whole section, it will save you all the pages that you have here on this side. So if you have 20 pages here, it will just make a PDF with however many pages you need, and then you can delete the ones that are on this OneNote. Annoying things about OneNote, they exist. You can't edit permissions in section groups. So the permissions are the ones that are automatically set. That's like the one I said, the content library. It's not, you can view but not edit, and the collaboration space, you can view and edit. You can't change these permissions, and any new section groups you create have the same permissions, which are tutors can see but not edit. So you can't edit individual permissions, which would be nice to have separate collaboration spaces, for example. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Table design is a bit limited. I mean, if you really like to have like really pretty tables, you can't merge and split cells and border formatting, column formatting, but you can do a lot. I mean, you can try and do play with colors and backgrounds, and you can put tables inside tables, and that helps splitting the cells. I think that is all. That's all I could find in terms of annoying things about OneNote. I am a huge fan. As you can see, I've got loads of notebooks, and I've closed a few before I started the session. So this is the one thing that I open at the beginning of the day, and I avoid having like loads of documents open, and then I don't know where I've saved them. It's a hassle, so this works really well. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, or if the moderators have got any questions that they've made notes of, I'd be happy to answer.